Welcome to another exciting episode of Sports Catalog. The Africa Cup of Nations ended with a total drama and shocking results from lower-ranked teams. Let's take you to road to final of Nigeria Super Eagles and just concluded Ivory Coast CAF Africa Cup of Nations few weeks ago. Nigeria won, Equatorial Guinea won. Super Eagles were left to rue their profligacy in front of goal during a frustrating start to the Africa Cup of Nations on Sunday. Nigeria were held to a disappointing 1-1 draw to kick off their Group A campaign in Abidjan, failing to match the exploits of Ivory Coast, who beat Guinea-Bissau 2-0 to open the tournament. Nigeria won, Ivory Coast won. The Super Eagles improved on a poor opening result in the tournament, putting the pressure on the Ivorians ahead of the final round of Group A games. Changes were made by Nigeria following a draw against Equatorial Guinea. They switched formation and brought Samuel Chukwueze and Calvin Bassey into their starting lineup. Although not a glittering display, Nigeria's work rate left Ivory Coast chasing shadows. Osimhen was alone in attack for the most part, so on that alone, he perhaps deserved the credit. The African Player of the Year also had the first chance of the match, but blazed over from a tight angle while under pressure. Nigeria won, Guinea-Bissau 0. The Super Eagles had the best of the chances, with Osimhen the constant threat, and they had 2 goals disallowed, both due to handballs by the Napoli centre-forward. But Guinea-Bissau, who knew they were out even before kick-off, put in a strong showing and caused Nigeria plenty of problems, having a goal of their own by Frankielino Ju chalked off for a tight offside. The result means that Nigeria went straight through to the round of 16, although progress as runners-up behind Equatorial Guinea, leaving the Super Eagles to face the second-placed team in Group C, which will be Cameroon. Round of 16. Nigeria 2, Cameroon 0. Nigeria defeated Cameroon in the AFCON 2023 round of 16, securing a place in the quarterfinals of the tournament held in Ivory Coast. In the match at the Stade Félix Houphouët-Boigny, the Super Eagles triumphed 2-0. Ademola Lookman opened the scoring in the 36th minute, capitalizing on an assist from Victor Osimhen. The shot by Lookman proved too much for goalkeeper Fabrice Ondoa to handle. Notably, Andre Onana, the Manchester United goalkeeper, was on the bench. Quarter-finals. Nigeria won, Angola 0. After roundly dispatching the indomitable Lions of Cameroon at the Félix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium in Abidjan last Saturday, the Super Eagles are back for another crunch clash at the same venue. While the Super Eagles were favourites on the strength of their AFCON successes and higher FIFA ranking, the 2023 AFCON tournament has proven to be one for underdogs, a development that swings the pendulum in favour of the Angolans. Nigeria's performance on Friday night was a brave one. Tioch. Semi-finals. Nigeria won, South Africa won. Pen shootout, 4-2. Nigeria entered Wednesday's evening match with a perfect record against South Africa in the Premier African Football Competition, having won 3 previous meetings at the Africa Cup of Nations. The Super Eagles beat Bafana Bafana, the boys, 2-0 in a 2000 semi-final in Nigeria, 4-0 in a group match 4 years later in Tunisia, and 2-1 in a 2019 quarter-final in Egypt. Nigeria had lost 5 of their previous 6 AFCON semi-finals and had to overcome a very spirited South Africa to reach the final, with the game ultimately decided by penalty. Nigeria coach Jose Peseiro made one change to the team that beat Angola 1-0, bringing in Bright Osei Samuel for left-back Zaidu Sanusi, who did not train on the eve of the match. Final. Nigeria won, Ivory Coast 2. Finally, the Total Africa Cup of Nations came to an end with total drama. Nigeria played Ivory Coast for the second time in the tournament. Nigeria were increasingly looking like the most formidable team at the 2023 AFCON tournament. As so many other pre-tournament favourites fell by the wayside, the Super Eagles were becoming the team tipped to claim the trophy. In a highly anticipated AFCON 2023 final between two established African football powers both falling on hard times in recent years, it was the hosts who had the last of their 9 lives remaining. The two West Africa giants locked horns again as their rivalry continued. In an exhilarating encounter, the Elephants clinched the African continent's crown for the 3rd time in their history. The game kicked off with excitement, both teams attacking fiercely. Eventually, Nigeria's captain, William Akong, had the first laugh. In a rare attack up the pitch, Nigeria won a corner that came curling on to the head of William Troost-Ekong, who nodded it into the back of the net for the opener to give them the lead at halftime. Ivory Coast didn't give in. They came out for the second half with gusto and equalized through a set piece of their own. Frank Kessie drifting into space and powering a header into the deck before it bounced into the net. A sign of fate perhaps came at the end of the game. Sebastian Haller, who missed the start of the tournament through injury, stuck his foot onto a cross and turned it past Stanley Nwabali to decide the match. Each member of the Nigerian squad has received one of the country's highest honors, the Member of the Order of the Niger. The president is also giving them each an apartment and a piece of land near the capital, Abuja. This means CAF will give winners Ivory Coast $7 million, runners-up Nigeria get $4 million, semi-finalists South Africa and DR Congo each get $2.5 million, while the 4 teams who made the quarter-finals take home $1.3 million each. Nigeria awardees. Goalkeeper, Ronwen Williams, South Africa. Defenders, Ola Aina, Nigeria, Ghislaine Konan, Côte d'Ivoire, William Troost-Ekong, Nigeria, Chancel Mbemba, DR Congo. Midfielders, Tebaho Makona, South Africa, Jean-Michel Seri, Côte d'Ivoire, Frank Kessie, Côte d'Ivoire. Strikers, Yon Wissa, DR Congo, Ademola Lookman, Nigeria, Emilion Su, Equatorial Guinea. Despite sustaining an injury in the second group stage game against Ivory Coast, Troost-Ekong not only continued to play but also excelled, earning him the title of Player of the Tournament. Ekong scored 3 goals at the tournament, including one in the final, which unfortunately wasn't enough to guide Nigeria to a 4th AFCON title. Epilogue. Continue to subscribe, share and comment on Sports Catalog as we update you on sporting events across the world. See you on our next episode. I want to know you like that. Now I want to